everyone, this is Sivaranjani, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science from KCS Kasnara College of Arts and Science. So as we have seen in the previous videos, we have seen three forms of control in programming. The first one was selection, sequential and iteration. So in this video we are going to see what is iteration control, as we have seen selection and sequential in detail already. So what is iteration control? Iteration control structure is a set of instructions and their iterative control statements controlling their execution. Because of their repeated execution, iterative control structures are commonly referred to as loops. So in this we have two things. The first one was while. So what is a while? A while is an iterative control statement that repeatedly executes a set of statements based on a provided Boolean expression, that is condition. So here we are going to see the syntax and the example for the while usage. So the syntax will start with the while keyword and it followed by a condition and it followed by a colon, and below that it has a statements. So here in this example we have a variable called sum with the value of 0 and the variable called current with the value of 1. Here we are getting an input with the data type of int and we are getting a value, and here we are checking while that current is less than or equal to n. So if that particular condition is true, it will get into this statement. So once till that current value is less than that particular n, this particular loop will execute. If that n value will exceed that current value, then the loop will stop its execution. So this is how the while will work. And moving on to the next thing, we have two types of loop. The one was definite loop. So what is a definite loop? A definite loop is a program loop in which the number of times the loop will be iterate can be determined before the loop is executed. So by seeing that in the previous example, we can say that till the n value is less than or equal to that current value, that particular loop will execute. But in the case of indefinite loop, we can't determine how many times that particular loop will be executed. So it was given as a definition here. An indefinite loop is a program loop in which the number of times that the loop will iterate cannot be determined before the loop is executed. Moving on to the next thing, so here we can see the example for definite loop. As I have already told you, till the n value is less than or equal to that current, here the particular loop will occur. Once it meets the condition, the loop will be terminated. But here we can have a value here called which, and it's getting a input. While we are here checking a condition, this particular value is not equal to f and is not equal to c. So till that, with these two values, if we have given any other values, this loop will not terminate. So this will be continuously going on. So that is gives this as an example for indefinite loop, and this was a definite loop. Here we can determine how much time the loop will be executed, but here we can't determine how much times we can give that alphabets that was other than f and c. So moving on to the next thing, that is for loop. So till now we have seen what is while. Now we are going to the next thing called for. So what is a for? A for statement is an iterative control statement that iterates once for each element in a specified sequence of element. So here we have the syntax and example for. So this was a syntax. So it always starts with the keyword for, and we have a variable, and with the help of that variable will be moving on to that particular sequence. So here we have an example, and with that example we have a variable called nums and it has a value. So here we can call it as a list because it was enclosed in the square brackets. To access each and every element in list, here we are using for loop. So for k in num print k. So what we are doing here, we are just accessing each and every element in a list with the help of a for loop. As I have already told you here, this statement will iterate once for each element in a specified sequence of element. Here the k is a loop variable. Moving on to the next thing. So in Python, we have a thing called built-in range function that can be used for generating a sequence of integers that a for loop can iterate over. But here the range doesn't include the end value, but it can include the start value. So here we have a value of sum as 0. For k in range, we have the range starts with 1 and ends with 11. So here we can take values from 1 to 10 and we are going to do a sum here. So this is how the iteration control will work. Thank you.